So the Holy Quran laid it down as its teaching that it is permissible for a Muslim to earn by legitimate means, mind you, not by all means fair and foul. There is no such thing here as people say all is fair in love and war. In earning wealth, according to Islam, you can earn wealth as a Muslim only by legitimate means. And the Holy Prophet ﷺ has proclaimed, Al-halalu bayyinun wal-haramu bayyinun. Whatever is legitimate has been made clear. It has not been left to our interpretation. Whatever is illegitimate has been made clear. Wal-haramu bayyinun. The list is there. There are some people who go about trying to raise the banner of their own piety and that they are the teachers of mankind for Islam. And things which have not been made haram by the Holy Prophet ﷺ, they say this is haram and this is haram. They have no right. They are committing a very big sin. Al-halalu bayyinun wal-haramu bayyinun. So a Muslim is permitted to earn by legitimate means only, legitimate as defined and pointed out and fixed by the Holy Prophet ﷺ, and not by my own wishful thinking. In that manner he may earn millions, but then he cannot spend it. He cannot spend it. The Holy Quran is clear on this. يَسْأَلُونَكَ مَاذَا يُنْفِقُونَ. O Prophet, fulfill it at all costs. May I give you an instance of this? And would you try to compare the most pious Muslims in that light? There are numerous instances, but I'll quote one. There was a Sahabi, Sayyidina Huzaifa, radiyallahu ta'ala. When the Holy Prophet ﷺ migrated and the other Muslims migrated from Mecca to Medina, Sayyidina Huzaifa remained behind to look after the affairs of Muslims, of those Muslims who had left. He was the last to leave. By the time that he made up his mind to leave, the kuffar in Mecca, the enemies of Islam, had posted guards on all the exits. There were sentinels. The guards were posted. So one day, Sayyidina Huzaifa, not knowing all this, what had happened, he just came to walk his way to Madinatul Munawwarah. He was stopped by the guards. You can't go, Huzaifa. You are a Muslim. We won't allow you to go. He said, but by what law? What do you mean? They said, no law. But the thing is that if you go there, look here, we are going to attack Medina. We are going to attack Medina, and we don't want that another soldier may be added to the Muslim group there. And therefore we won't allow you to. We can allow you to go if you give your pledge. وَالْمُفُونَ بِعَهْدِهِمْ. If you give your ahd, your pledge, that when we attack Medina, you won't come to the battlefield on behalf of the Muslims, but stay at your home. Poor Sayyidina Huzaifa gave the pledge. He thought, al-harbu khud'atun, war is a strategy. So a promise, according to our modern law, a promise taken under duress is not a promise. So he gave the promise and walked towards Medina Sharif. He reached Medina. When he arrived in Medina, he told the whole story to the Holy Prophet ﷺ. The Holy Prophet ﷺ heard it. Then Sayyidina Huzaifa started living in Medina and became engaged in whatever job there might have been. Ultimately came the Battle of Badr. the first battle in the history of Islam. The Meccans came in very good force. The Muslims were a small group, hedged in by the menace of the hypocrites on the one hand, inside the home, and the Jews on the other hand, and they were few in number, 313. After his utmost efforts, the Holy Prophet ﷺ could not bring more than 313 to the battlefield. And those two were not properly armed, most of them. Every soldier was needed. And then came Sayyidina Huzaifa to the Holy Prophet ﷺ. This is Islam, gentlemen. Then came Sayyidina Huzaifa. He said to the Holy Prophet ﷺ, Sir, I wish to join the army. The Holy Prophet ﷺ said, you cannot join the army. He said, why, sir? He said, don't you remember that you had given the kuffar a promise at that time? He said, sir, that promise was taken under duress, and a promise taken under duress is not a promise. He said, yes, in general law, for general human beings, a promise taken under duress is not a promise. But for a Muslim, it is a promise. The Muslims may be defeated, God forbid, he said, but no Muslim should break the law of God. وَالْمُوفُونَ بِعَهْدِهِمْ إِذَا عَاهَدُوا. And Sayyidina Huzaifa couldn't go to the battle. What? Our promises today. There is a whole dictionary of excuses which has been coined and is kept ready. Sober people, elderly people, aged persons, sitting in the market and dealing in transactions. I don't know about this place. I came here just not even Juma 8 rows, not even, I will say, even less than that. I don't know about this. But I know where I have lived, India and Pakistan. Nobody cares. They say, what? Isme kya hua? अरे नमाज तो पढ़ ली, हम तो 5 वक्त की नमाज पढ़ता है, जमात से नमाज पढ़ता है जी इसमें क्या हुआ? वादा पूरा किया या नहीं किया? Just a new Islam. Just a new Islam according to personal feelings and personal wishes. وَالْمُوفُونَ بِعَهْدِهِمْ إِذَا عَاهَدُوا وَالصَّابِرِينَ فِي الْبَأْسَاءِ وَالضَّرَّاءِ وَحِينَ الْبَأْسِ. And those who stick to perseverance and patience in hardships, on the battlefield, and when they suffer losses. Why? How can a Muslim face all hardships like this, all calamities, so calmly and serenely? Because his motto of life has been given. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. وَبَشِّرِ الصَّابِرِينَ الَّذِينَ إِذَا أَصَابَتْهُمْ مُصِيبَةٌ. And give glad tidings to those, to the sabirin, to those who cultivate and practice sabr, that when any calamity befalls them, they say, we don't. Inna lillahi. Our lives, our everything is for God and God alone, is only for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It does not belong to us. What do we care? Why should we care? It is not ours. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. And also we are not going to live here for all time. We are going towards Him. Why should we bother? Any calamity may come. Anything may come. I may tell you here a story. I gave you a story from the time of the Holy Prophet. I'll give you a story from a period when Muslims had sunk down very low in certain aspects of their life. Politically, they had been beaten by their enemies. Morally, the high-ups among Muslims were like the high-ups of today, given to wine and bowmen and luxuries of the world and all that. At that time was born the greatest reformer of Muslim history from among the followers of the Holy Prophet ﷺ after the Qurun al-Ula. That is in the medieval ages. After the ending of the Qurun al-Ula, the greatest reformer up to this day from that time, he was Ghaus al-Azam, Muhyiddin Sayyid Abdul Qadir al-Jilani radiyallahu ta'ala. What is the example that he set? This وَالصَّابِرِينَ فِي الْبَأْسَاءِ وَالضَّرَّاءِ وَحِينَ الْبَأْسِ. It is related that he was a business magnate of a high order, although not living the life of business magnate, living the life of faqr, but earning money for the sake of the cause of Islam. So much so that he had a merchant navy of his own. One day, as he was sitting in his khanqah, along with his muris, his disciples, and other Muslims, news was brought to him by his general manager. Sir, I am very sorry to inform you that news has arrived that the flotilla which was carrying merchandise and going from Basra has been drowned along with that merchandise. Not a joke. The flotilla and the merchandise that it contained, everything drowned, then the whole business drowned. It was not the drowning of one needle. We are told that Sayyidina Ghaus al-Azam looked at him for a moment to grasp what he was saying, then bowed his head, then raised it after a moment and said, Alhamdulillah, and continued his discourse that he was giving to his disciples. After some time, after about 1 hour or so, this general manager came again and he said, Sir, I have a very happy news. We have obtained information that the previous information was incorrect. The flotilla was caught in a very big storm, but ultimately it has reached the shore and it's safe. Again, Ghaus al-Azam did the same thing. As he was talking to others, so he looked at him, then bowed his head for a moment, then raised his head, and then said, Alhamdulillah. Those who were there, they asked him, one of them who was very dear and near to him, he said, Sir, I am unable to understand this. When the news came that the flotilla had been drowned, you said Alhamdulillah. And when the news came that the flotilla had been saved again, you said Alhamdulillah. How can it be? Sayyidina Ghaus al-Azam smiled and said, you are mistaken in understanding that I said Alhamdulillah on the drowning of that flotilla or on the escape of that flotilla from Calamity. Not on that. I introspected or examined my inner feelings when that news came, just to see whether that shocking news had created even the slightest effect on my emotion, and I found there was none. So on that I said, Alhamdulillah. قالوا إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون. Not this inna lillah is not said like this, that a person is weeping and wailing and mourning and then saying inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. This is not that. This is not that inna lillah. Inna lillah is said with the spirit and with the consciousness and with the understanding, and with that syndrome or that condition, inner and outer, which is in conformity and harmony with this inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. And he said, when this news was brought that it had been saved, then again I tried to assess whether it had created any impression on my emotions or my feelings, and I found by God's grace that it had created none. So it was in there that I said, Alhamdulillah. It was not only for Ghawsul Azam to do it. We have been commanded, all of us, to be like this. The Holy Quran says, لِكَيْ لَا تَعْسَوْا عَلَى مَا فَاتَكُمْ وَلَا تَفْرَحُوا بِمَا آتَاكُمْ. The motto for the life of every Muslim that the Quran has laid down is that because you are believers in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, therefore, any calamity that may come to you, any loss that may accrue to you in business or anything else, ala ma fatakum, whatever you lose in life, la tasaw. Never allow frustration or despair to overtake you, or else you are not behaving as a Muslim.